All right, hello, happy Friday. I want to do a video today about something I've done a lot. I'm sure I have. I feel like everything I talk about now in videos I've already touched on, but sometimes saying it a different way or using a different analogy or something is helpful. So I want to talk about food indecision, or I guess getting really good at eating unrestrictedly. A lot of times clients will ask me, how do I just start eating unrestrictedly? I feel like when I think of something I want to eat, I always have these thoughts creep in of well, if you have that now, you shouldn't have this later, or you had that thing earlier today, or you're going out to eat. And it's like the flood of just firing thoughts coming at you that complicate eating unrestrictedly, right? Because there's so many rules and so many hoops you have to jump through before you can make a decision and feel at peace with it. And my first piece of advice is you're not going to feel at peace with what your brain is asking you to eat when you're in recovery. Because it's likely a food that scares you. Eating anything outside of what you have been doing, out of the norm, scares you, right? It's not going to feel comfortable for you to start eating unrestrictedly. That's the first thing. So how do you get yourself to that point where you have a thought and you respond? And I've talked about this before, the 5-second rule that I implemented, where I would have a thought of, oh, I want that brownie. And I'd have to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, eat the brownie. Because if I didn't stand a chance of being successful at eating that brownie. And I like to use the example of imagine if you're behind, I don't know, a big shield. And you thinking more than 5 seconds about eating that brownie is that shield is being dropped and people are firing at you, really, really rapid fire shots at you. You don't stand a chance. You are going to get shot down for sure. It's not going to be good. But if you can see that as, if I let this decision process go on more than 5 seconds, I don't stand a chance. I have rapid fire eating disorder thoughts that are coming at me, and then I can't make a clear decision. I get overwhelmed. I freak out. I choose the safe thing. I run away. I cannot make a clear decision. And so I can't stress to you how important it is, the importance of when you have a thought of what you want to eat, responding quickly. Now, people will ask questions well, what if I'm in class and I have the thought of cereal? I can't just pour a bowl of cereal in class. No, you can't. Hopefully you have food with you. And if you are thinking about cereal in class, you pull something out and eat it because you clearly are mentally hungry. But then as soon as you can get that thing, commit in class, I am going to have cereal when I get home, regardless if I feel like it, regardless if I think it makes sense, because you've had a lot of time elapsed between class and when you got home to talk yourself out of actually having cereal. So you have to commit when you have the thought, I'm having that. As soon as I am able, I'm having that, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of my mindset, regardless of anything, no matter how scared I am, I'm having that thing. And then following through with that. Now, if you're in a place where you can, let's say you're home and you're reading a book and you're oh gosh, cereal sounds so good right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's happening. Get up and get the cereal. Do not sit there and think, oh, I'll just read another page, or oh, I'll wait until it's 11 o'clock, or oh, maybe I'll have cereal later this afternoon because I did think it sounded good now, so surely it would make sense to wait 7 hours. No, don't do any of that. Don't do any of that. Stop yourself and get it immediately. And like I said, if you're thinking of something that you want and you don't have access to it in that moment, have whatever you do have access to, because everywhere you go, you should have food with you. And then as soon as you can, go and get that thing and eat it. Commit to having it in the moment. And as soon as you can get to it, follow through and have it. So I know that's overly simplified in how to start eating unrestrictedly, but just to say I'm going to start eating unrestrictedly and not really having a plan as to how you're actually going to get the food off the plate or out of the box and into your mouth, that's how you have to do that. It's going to feel like you're standing at the edge of a cliff and you got to just jump and it feels like a free fall, but you do have a parachute. You're not going to die. It is going to end well. I promise you that. You have to follow through with the things that you really want to eat. Even more so when it makes absolutely zero sense. So even when you can't think of one single reason why you can justify eating that thing, those are the most important times that you need to eat the thing that you can't justify eating, because that's when the greatest rewiring happens. Okay. So that's my message to you today. Hopefully you take this advice that I've given many times of just acting, don't think and just act and just eat it. And usually after you do that, it's kind of oh, that wasn't as hard as I thought it'd be. Oh, that wasn't as bad as I imagined it would be. That was actually, wow, I can do that. And you start to gain confidence in your ability to be able to eat what it is that you want. So Anyways, with that, have a good weekend and I'll talk to you hopefully next week. Bye.